So today, it's a blast from the past, a video that I'm pleased to finally share with you, one that I'd originally planned to upload in January 2020. But I was fairly new to editing back then and I knew that it would take hours, thus I kept putting it off and delaying it. However, now is a better time than any, so here goes. Ravaged by time and with a dark past, today we finally get to look around a century-old colonial mansion that the local Malaysian folk have named the 99-door mansion. We left our Airbnb rental for around 10 AM for a full day out, and as you can see we took a rented bike. We'd taken it from the centre of Georgetown on the island of Penang some days earlier. I had to be on guard and watch for the notorious Malay bikers as I navigated through the fast flowing traffic into town. We did this journey a lot during our 10 days on the island, and overall the journey took around 25 minutes as we were staying south of the main city. We'd spent the previous 7 days looking around, exploring and hunting the island's disused mansions. We'd probably missed the best of it, but if you've never seen the sights, smells, heritage architecture or perhaps the graffiti of Georgetown, when the world returns to normal, you should. So back to the mad dash. We took the bike as far as we were allowed by the rental company. No firms allow you to cross the bridge into the mainland, which would be the easier way. So I worked out the next best thing was to park at the port, hop on a regular ferry, which is pretty cheap, over across to the mainland. It doesn't take long to arrive, and once the ferry reaches the mainland terminal, it also contains a train station which is just next door. Hello, I need 2 tickets. Going just here, just two stops. Return if possible. Return. Yeah. Need like 4 hours there? 5 hours? Just meeting a friend, you know. Yeah? 5:30 PM, arrive here around 5. Brilliant, thank you. And it's 1:10, yeah? 1:10. Thank you. Thank you very much. So we proceeded to jump on board one of the trains heading back south towards Kuala Lumpur, where we would get a taxi to finish off the journey into the heart of the palm tree plantations in Nibong, Tibul. Once the taxi dropped us off, we proceeded to navigate our way into the grounds looking for the mansion. A 158-year-old mansion with yellow walls decaying from the continuous years of neglect, but these walls also hide a wealth of history and mystery. Known as the 99-door mansion due to the odd arrangement of 5 to 6 doors fitted to each room, this was a large building that was once owned by one of the richest families in the United Kingdom, after it was built in the 1840s by the British settlers. The Ramsden family were known for managing a great deal of estates that went through the change of sugarcane to rubber to plant oil during the changing tides of the 19th century plantation economy. Formerly an administration office, the spacious structure of the mansion consisted of 10 rooms, a balcony, a dance hall, a living room and of course a kitchen. In 1948, John Ramsden, who once served as a managing director of the Penang Rubber Estates Group, was murdered. He was shot twice in the back of the head as he was going upstairs on the Caledonian estate. Even after a series of long court trials, the murder remained unsolved until today, despite claims of a family feud and arguments with villagers. The mansion has subsequently been left empty since around the 1960s. However, over the last few years, the Penang Heritage Trust has pushed for conservation efforts in recognising the century-old house as a heritage site. However, the mansion is still heavily neglected. It sits these days on a private estate, and thus the house itself is managed by a local caretaker. shots we want to get. It's actually a stunning place. We really love it so far. The colours in here are fantastic. So we're going to grab three shots, and I'm going to do it on the whim. So I'm going to quickly talk you through 3 shots that I'm going to get, additional shots. We've actually already run around and grabbed our sort of main shots because we didn't know if anyone was about. We were originally coming here to seek permission, but there's no one seems to be here, so we're kind of just shooting. And then, seek forgiveness later if called. So we're basically going to grab an external here. I quite like this balcony shot. Going to go through, and I'm then going to photograph inside. There's this kind of really nice sort of, I think it was the old ballroom with a spiral staircase that leads up to it, and then there's the entrance hall downstairs as well. So I'm going to guide you through each of the shots. So let's grab the first. Absolutely boiling. It really is hot. So you wouldn't believe that it's December the 10th today? December the 10th. So yeah, it's a proper hot day. Okay, so that's looking nice. Focused on, I've literally focused right on the wall itself of the actual mansion. And that's it, first shot in the bag. So let's go to the second. So the first thing that's happened is I've moved inside, so obviously then I need to put my bracket in on. So I've opted for 3 brackets on this one. I think it's absolutely fine. Really like this shot for some reason, I don't know why. I think it's because of the way the light falls as well. And I really like the banisters on either side of the steps. I'm just going to move my tripod back a tiny bit. What I've done is I've framed it so I've got a little bit of the banisters just here in my frame, and I'm going to move my lens down a little bit just so it looks a little bit more balanced. There we go. So again, it's 17mm. Nice wide shot. I'm just going to focus actually on that first pillar there. Manually focus on that. And my brackets here, again, I'm shooting f8, nice and low, 50, and then we're 1.6 seconds on the brightest exposure. So because the light's going this way, obviously we haven't got a long exposure, so it's brilliant. So I'm going to pull the trigger on that one. I really like that one. I don't know why, I think it's the colours, the left and the right side. You could just step further forward here, which is what I've done, and that's now allowing me a slightly different composition and a little bit more foreground interest, because we've got the 2 lovely banisters a little bit closer to the lens now, and it looks a little bit more balanced actually. I think it's actually a little bit nicer than what I originally composed. So the first thing I'm doing is just making sure that we're in the middle. So just checking the floorboards, making sure that they're nice and straight, which they do seem to be at the moment. And I'm going to compose that. I think I like that better than my original. Check my exposures. Yeah, the middle one is actually perfect. You can almost do this with 2 exposures. But I think I really like that. Again, shooting on the 17mm. I'm on the tilt shift, but only because I'm using the 16 to 35 to actually film with. Next we're going to go through here into the ballroom. So it's quite smart, but it's quite hard to shoot. So yeah, let's have a look. Okay, so I'm going to go straight down the centre here, which is difficult. I can tell straight away because I can tell there's a little bit of the wood in this place has obviously changed and bent and moulded itself over the years as it's decayed. So it's kind of, it's not going to be exactly straight. And also we're facing the light, so obviously that means it's going to be challenging pointing the light straight at the camera. Composition wise, I really like this staircase here. The thing we have noticed is if you're not careful, it does look a little bit like you're bending the stairs. So actually my camera needs to be a bit lower. It needs to be here to stop those to stop that staircase looking distorted, because obviously I'm on a wide angle lens and that's towards the right side. So I'm basically going to, as more sweat drips off my head, I'm going to lower my tripod to around about this position to get that sort of like a straighter angle. So let's do that now. I like this shot, it looks quite smart. It's going to be a harder shot for me to get into position with. Just check what we're doing there. I'm just lining up the banisters with the edge of the frame. So here and here, I'm just lining them up, making sure they're lined up right. It does look good. It's just not quite straight yet. Yeah, so you can see what I can see where it's bent, the walls and stuff. I'm just going to check the top of the frame. Looks nice. And I'm going to pull the trigger on that one. So my focus is going to be that staircase right down there on the right hand side. So that's where I'm focusing the lens. Third of the way into the scene, or infinity. I could have done either. So, but the thing is here, I think the windows are going to blow out a little bit. I'm going to need to protect my highlights, which is something I've been rubbish at while recording movies. So I've learnt that yesterday while filming. So I'm going to, while editing a video. So I'm going to really overcompensate here and really protect my highlights. So my brightest one is 0.8 seconds, f8, ISO 50, shoot that. Downstairs, and there's a staircase that leads up to this top floor, and there's also an entrance, and we really like the entrance. The yellow on the entrance really pops. I'm going to grab that photo, I'm going to get the drone up in the air, and I'm going to get out of here. So yeah, let's go downstairs and grab the last shot. So this is my final shot. I'm in position. Excuse my crouching knee position I've got going on here. Really love this shot because when you get it yourself positioned right, which is a bit of a struggle because it's a bit all over the place, the building, like I said a minute ago with the last shot. You're pointing out, you've got the palm trees through the back there, and this is my composition of the staircase leading in. I really like it. So again, it's a nice simple composition. I'm going straight down the centre. I'm making sure I'm lining up my edges. So I've always got the grid on my camera. So I'm lining my grid lines up with the archway lines, and it's working out perfect. I've actually got a tiny little bit of gap on the left, a little bit on the right. I'm looking at the two gaps either side of the camera, whereabouts the rule of thirds are, just to make sure that the gaps are the same. And I'm also just lining up the staircase with a little ridge that's up the top there to make sure that we're in the middle of the frame. So again, it looks pretty good. So I'm just going to bring that down and make sure we've got everything as we want it. It looks pretty nice. I'm going to do one here and then step forwards a little bit because I have a sneaky suspicion it might be a little bit better composition wise. But I'm quite happy with that overall. I'm refocusing again on the staircase that's here. Just going to make sure that the palm trees are actually in focus as well. They are. So I'm focusing enough into the scene that all of it is in focus, so that's perfect. And then I'm going to shuffle forwards, focusing on the stairs again, making sure I've got everything nice and straight, which I have. It's a really nice shot. It's probably my favourite one of the whole building actually now. And then I'm going to grab that panoramic I mentioned. So I'm just tilting the lens up to the top. 3 brackets again, refocusing on the ceiling. And I like the shape that's up there. It looks really nice and the colour is going to pop. So that's that. This is the Instagram version, because it's the portrait. So these days I shoot portrait and landscape to make sure I've got one for Instagram.